This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Bugs crashing your pack's party? Whether they've got paws or sneakers, your pack deserves a home that's protected from pests. That's where Wondercide comes in. Plant-powered protection made with steam-distilled natural essential oils that actually work. It kills and repels fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, and ants without questionable ingredients or overpowering smells. Safe to use around kids and pets when used as directed. Lab-proven to work fast. And proudly made in the USA. We offer sprays for pets, people, homes, and yards. Plus, spot-on treatments, collars, and even shampoos. Whatever your pack needs, we've got it covered. Founded by a pet parent looking for a better way to protect her dog Luna, Wondercide's now protected over 21 million lives and counting. You might have even seen us on Shark Tank. Go to Wondercide.com and use code WONDER20 for 20% off your first order. That's WONDER20 at Wondercide.com. Wondercide. Protect your pack with plant-powered Wondercide today.
It's KFI AM 640, and you're listening to The Conway Show on demand on the iHeartRadio app. KFI AM 640, it is The Conway Show. We'll get some more updates on Charlie Kirk, and we've got some bad news. Robert Redford has passed away. Yeah, Butch Cassidy's Sundance Kid, the very first movie I saw with my dad in a little tiny theater outside of Cleveland, Ohio, that changed my life, and I fell in love with the silver screen, and that's why I got into it. I just do this to pay the bills, but my true heart and love is on that silver screen. Maybe not. All right, Alex Stone is with us. We have more information on Tyler Robinson, the guy who, in my opinion, killed Charlie Kirk. I think a lot of people think the same way. Alex, how you, bub?
I think a lot of people would agree with you on that. Up close and personal. Remember that movie where Robert Redford was the TV news director with the scanner always going off and the police scanner in his home with Michelle Pfeiffer? That was a good movie.
Are you old enough to have seen Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid in theaters?
No, not in theaters, but I definitely saw it at some point, but not in theaters.
It's an unbelievable movie.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Yeah. All right, so Tyler Robinson, he said he killed Charlie Kirk. That's more evidence.
Yeah, so he was in court a little while ago. No T-shirt, only a green protective vest, a stab vest, it looked like, or a bulletproof vest of some kind, but to make sure nobody can hurt him and he can't hurt himself. And he sat remotely listening to the Utah County judge, and he responded only briefly a little while ago when he was asked his name.
Could you state your name?
Tyler James Robinson.
And the judge during the hearing found him indigent, that he will have an attorney provided for him. The judge ruled that he's to be held without bail ahead of his next hearing on September 29th. He will get an attorney between now and then. They'll find somebody to do it. We understand there's only like a dozen attorneys in Utah who can do a death penalty case like this, and some of them are already saying they want nothing to do with this.
Wow.
So they got to find somebody. The judge approved a protective order for Charlie Kirk's wife, not that Tyler Robinson is going to be getting out and a threat to her at any point, but they, at least anytime soon and probably ever. But he issued that. And then prosecutors told the judge they made it official that they're going for the death penalty.
We did file just recently, within the last few minutes, a notice of intent to seek the death penalty.
So today, before he was in court, they announced it's murder, obstructing justice, witness tampering. There are charges involving committing a crime in front of children because there were kids in the crowd. But they made it known they are going to go death penalty, which is lethal injection is the primary means in Utah, but firing squad is the backup alternative if they were to say that they couldn't do lethal injection. But we learned a ton about the case today and all of this as well as they were filing these charges. One being that they did find his DNA on the trigger of the rifle, along with on a towel that it was wrapped up in and some other things that they found. And this is the Utah County Attorney General Jeff Gray laying it out.
After shooting Mr. Kirk, Robinson hid the gun, discarded the clothing he wore when he fired the rifle, and told his roommate to delete incriminating text messages.
And that is what led to the obstruction of justice and began witness tampering of telling him don't talk to the police, don't and go ahead and delete those emails. We also found out today about turning himself in, that it was his mother who saw a picture on the news of the shooter and thought that looked like her son. So she called him and said, where are you? Just curious, how you doing? Where are you? And he said, well, I'm at my apartment. I've been sick for a couple of days, haven't been feeling well. She went to her husband and said, this looks like Tyler. And they looked at it. He recognized him, then recognized a photo that was on the news of the rifle, that was what had been handed down to Robinson from Robinson's grandfather.
Oh, wow.
And so they went back and forth. There was one text where Robinson to his roommate said it was Grandpa's rifle, but Gray said today.
Robinson's mother explained that over the last year or so, Robinson had become more political and had started to lean more to the left, becoming more pro-gay and trans rights oriented.
And his roommate, who Gray says Robinson was dating, biological male, transitioning to female, and more with his dad. His dad, mom and dad are very conservative. He grew up in a very conservative family. And dad said, hey, come over, let's talk. He said, I'm going to kill myself. Robinson did to his family, according to prosecutors. They said, no, just come over and talk to us, and more on that conversation.
As they discussed the situation, Robinson implied that he was the shooter and stated that he couldn't go to jail and just wanted to end it. When asked why he did it, Robinson explained there is too much evil and the guy, referring to Charlie Kirk, spreads too much hate. They talked about Robinson turning himself in and convinced Robinson to speak with a family friend who's a retired deputy sheriff.
So that retired sheriff convinced them, when mom and dad called with Robinson there, to go to the Washington County, Utah Sheriff's Office, turn himself in, told him, bring all the evidence. If you've got any clothing, if you got anything to reduce the search that's going to go on at the family home, to go in. And they did. And can you imagine how tough that was on mom and dad to know that they're bringing their son in for the death penalty?
Yeah.
That's the last time that they may see him as a free man or even alive for all that long. But just lastly, before all of this, he allegedly left a note for his roommate, whom they say he was dating, talking about the shooting, and told his roommate to go find the note under a desk, and texted with the roommate admitting to the crime. They read the text today between the roommate and Robinson. It sounded like this.
Robinson, I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. Again, you are all I worry about, love. That came from Robinson. Roommate, I'm much more worried about you. Robinson, don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments.
And he allegedly told the roommate, delete these messages, which again goes to the obstruction of justice, asking for them to be deleted. But the county attorney today, Tim, said that they do not think at this point there are any other suspects, anybody else was involved. The roommate didn't know about it beforehand, they don't think, and has been totally cooperative of giving them the text messages and the letter and all of that. So still an open case, they say, but they don't think anybody else was involved.
I'm sorry, what a week for the parents, though. I mean, the dad, the family is very conservative, probably big fans of Charlie Kirk, or at least knew who he was. Then they had to they recognized their son as the murderer, had to turn him in. They denied the money, the $100,000 reward for finding the killer. And then he retired. The father retired from law enforcement, didn't think he could really do the job with all the publicity surrounding that. And also, I read this online, this may or may not be true, of this list of things on the dad, still favors the death penalty for his kid.
Yeah, I don't know about that, and that may be true. I haven't
I don't
heard
need
that. But
that's the only one that I'm a question mark next to.
Yeah, but you can just the thought of that you look up and your son's on TV as the killer,
yeah.
and convincing him, hey, you know what, come over and just talk to us at the house, and then setting him down according to prosecutors, and the mom and dad said, look, it's going to be all right, but we're going to call our friend the sheriff and ask what we should do, and then he said, you know what, take him to the sheriff's office and we'll handle it from there, and then they handled it from there, and that had to be tough.
Some people online who know a lot more about guns than I do said that he probably aimed for it was a headshot, but he didn't allow for the distance and the slope of the bullet. But if that would have hit him square in the face, that would have been much more traumatic for everybody there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've heard from a couple of people who are much more well-versed in guns than I am. And yeah, their teaching would be either center mass or in a sniper, the face. And that they thought it was probably actually a bad shot in the end. It achieved what he was going out for, but that you wouldn't typically go for the neck. And that it was likely, for whatever reason, distance, wind, slope, anything like that, that he was probably, according to them, they would think going for the head. But yeah, he knew guns. He grew up around them. This gun had been apparently handed down from grandpa, but he was not a military sniper or law enforcement sniper, that he had just grown up firing them.
Let me ask you something on a professional level. How many people of the press you think will be on Sunday? And CBS and NBC, or CBS and Fox, have NFL games, and I think they're obligated to run those games. But I think the other channels will run this live.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard what the plans are yet. And yeah, you're probably right. I'm sure football will still air. They may put it on a secondary channel or on a streaming channel, that sort of thing. But no, I think there's going to be a lot of media there for a number of different reasons. One, just what it is, but the president's going to be there, and it's going to be a huge crowd. They're going to be filling the stadium. And
are you going to cover?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm being sent or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. I appreciate you coming on. And you know what? This is not even a week old. This story. This didn't happen until, tomorrow will be a week.
A lot has gone on in the last week, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But I really appreciate you coming on.
Yep, you got it. Thanks,
all
Tim.
right, Alex Stone, that guy has not slept since this happened. He is up all night long covering this story. Robert Redford passed away. That's another story we're working on here. We'll have information on that. And then we also have a guest at 5 o'clock. A state senator is coming in. So that'll be cool as well. We're live on KFI AM 640.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
KFI AM 640, it's Conway Show. Petros is with us from the Petros and Money Show. How you, bub? Nice to see you, man. Hey, let's get a microphone. I know you got to go do your own show.
Come on, man.
You work your ass off. But did Robert Redford ever come to your dad's
No,
restaurant?
not that I know of, but I did see Robert Redford a few years ago.
Really?
Yeah. I'm very, very grateful to have a friend. And I'm not talking about Sundance, the film festival, which is now in Park City because it's too big. But the place that is Sundance, the conservatory with the little resort that Redford, I believe he recently sold it, but it's still a conservatory like Catalina Island.
Okay.
And he sold it to a hotel company, I think, shortly before he passed a few years back. But I've been on that Sundance property more than once, in the summer and the winter. I have a friend who's
beautiful.
It's crazy. And you drive right by the place. You would never know it's there. And I have a friend whose father owns a home there. So not in the resort, but one of the houses around there. And there's a bar at Sundance called the Owl Bar.
Oh, that's cool.
And at the Owl Bar, it is built like a real 19th century bar using 19th century walls from ghost towns that Redford found, all the furniture in there, the actual bar. And, it's not Disneyland cheesy, but it's like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. There's a little picture of them, those two and the woman, on the wall. I mean, it is something else. And there's always jazz and different things. And when you go there, you order Bob's beer if you want, because he chooses a different beer every month. And
that's great.
It was.
How did you find it? I mean, why were you there?
A friend of mine's father, who's from a native Utah guy who relocated out to Palos Verdes, he owns a home there.
Oh, okay.
And I've been entertained there at the home a couple times. So I saw Redford just walking through the hotel, and the hotel is beautiful, and the whole thing is great, but unpretentious. And
where is it again in Utah?
It's in Sundance. It's called Sundance.
Right.
It's a real place. They used to have the film festival there, but it got too big, so they moved it to Park City, which is like Aspen or something like that. So Sundance, the place is like actually directly above where they recently had the assassination.
Oh, is that right? Wow.
Was that Orem?
Yeah, Orem,
Orem and Provo. So right above BYU and Utah Valley.
All right.
So it's right there.
But speaking of that,
I saw him, and he was a lot shorter than I thought. They had him listed at 5'10", and I was like, no way.
No. He's like 5'5".
Dude, he was tiny.
Yeah.
Like, I looked down at him like I would a child or a woman. And I was like, oh, my God, that's Robert Redford.
Speaking of Utah.
But he looked great.
You did a game there this weekend.
Yeah, I was in Logan, Utah.
Did they have a commemoration?
Yeah, they did. Well, actually, that's where Charlie Kirk, I think, was headed next.
Oh, really?
So the governor ended up there at our game, and I've done a lot of games in my life at a lot bigger places and bigger games and motorcades and all that, but never had like security assigned.
Oh, yeah, personal security.
We did. Wow. It was really weird. Probably totally unnecessary, but Fox did that. So yeah, it was kind of tense. But we were in Logan, Utah, which was a beautiful town and kind of like a time warp, like that movie Pleasantville.
Oh, okay, yeah, right.
Very beautiful, beautiful place. And Merlin Olsen Field up there.
I got to thank you. Governor Newsom came out today and said that those two Menendez kids are not going to get out of prison, and he attributed to you screaming from the top of your lungs from the fourth floor here at 3400 Olive. Don't do it, Lyle.
Yeah, don't do it, Lyle. I came around like I think I painted a cinematic picture.
That's right.
And it was me, coming out of the kitchen area with like a Cliff Bar, walking around the corner, and then, being confronted with the scene of Lyle holding the gun, shaking with emotion.
Right, at my head.
And you standing there holding your headphones, ding dong,
right.
And me screaming, don't do it, Lyle. And I think they heard that.
Yep.
That I painted such a picture in the mind's eye, kind of like War of the Worlds.
Right, but even
to Newsom, that he said, these guys, they got to stay. They have to stay incarcerated because we can't lose to Tim Conway Jr.
That's right. Even people who are leaning towards releasing these two kids, you've changed their mind.
Well, you show somebody what could happen.
Right.
And then they say, wow, like, what is it? The Christmas Carol, right? You show Ebenezer Scrooge, here's what life is like without Tim Conway Jr.
Right. That's exactly right.
And it's like communist Prague out there.
Right.
It's gray. Everybody's sad.
I think it's even worse than that, but I'll accept that.
Everybody's holding like one loaf of bread.
Wheelbarrow of money.
Yeah, it's
to pay for one sandwich.
Inflation's got to, you know what I mean? It's kind of like that. The ghost of Christmas future.
I appreciate that. All the cities and towns are all dark. The electricity's out. I appreciate that.
You blew it up. Son of a bitch, you blew it up.
What game did you do? Who did?
It was a Utah State Air Force game. Utah State, not BYU.
Okay, but
Utah State won.
I remember you said that when you played either the Army or Air Force, those guys could be down by 45 points and they still played like
we never played them. But I've done enough. I've done a lot of Air Force games just because of the West Coast, and it doesn't matter. It is amazing because they have no NIL. They don't have any of the things that anybody else has. They can't even redshirt players, and freshmen don't even play. And after you're done playing, you got to go serve as an officer for however many years. But they still consistently win 9, 10, 8 ball games a year in major FBS football, and it's amazing. And the truth is, it's because nobody wants, you play normal football all year long, and then 1 week a year, you get this sawed-off white dude with a flat top from Maryland launching his forehead right into your crotch. And it doesn't matter if you're down 45. That part, it doesn't matter if you're up or down. They're going to launch their military-like Battle of the Bulge into your crotch, right into your penis, over and over. And it's happened to me. Like, I've taken the helmet to the crotch. We don't wear cups out there.
I didn't know that.
You can't run in a cup.
Oh,
my
wow.
God.
Man. Wait, the NFL doesn't use cups?
No one uses a cup.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
No. Oh, that's unbelievable.
No, that's
another reason not to play.
That's a catcher thing, but that's it.
That
Everybody
is
else.
wild.
Anyway, nobody wants the missile to the crotch for 4 quarters, and that is why they compete. Because then it's like, hey, man, who are we playing this week? Army. Great. Some guy's going to launch himself into my crotch for 4 quarters.
You're the best, buddy.
All right.
I appreciate you coming in. Petros and Money over there on AM 570, right?
Yeah, I think
right.
that's
that's
I
what
believe
you're doing
that's
over
the
there.
show. Yeah,
Okay.
that's the one.
Are you preempted tonight? Are you doing a short?
No, well, we'll be preempted from 6 to 7.
All right, okay.
As the Dodger pregame.
Dodger pregame. All right, buddy. Appreciate you coming in. I see you have a shirt that says 1977. Is that your birth
That's
year?
the year I was born, yeah.
Wow,
So-
1 year after the birth of the 200th anniversary.
Right. I'm almost a bicentennial baby, but
That's right.
just
Buddy, thank you for coming in.
I took a big picture by that big thing in Riverside either way.
Oh, I said what, the dam?
Right off the 91.
The dam,
That's
yeah.
beautiful.
The 71 and the
Great
91.
commemoration.
I love that. All right, it's Conway Show. We're live on KFI.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI AM 640. It is the Conway Show. There's going to be a big memorial for Charlie Kirk this Sunday in Glendale, Arizona, just outside of Phoenix, Arizona, at the State Farm Stadium there. 73,000 people are expected inside, maybe 100 or 150, 200,000 people on the outside. It's going to be a big, huge event. And there's also some controversy over the flag flying at half-staff for Charlie Kirk. And this is, I believe, a story about West Hollywood. But there's also, I guess it was Mayor Karen Bass, who didn't give the directive to the local fire stations or police stations to lower the flag to half staff. But some fire companies from some fire stations did it on their own. And that's another controversy. It's in Los Angeles. We throw a lot at you in LA. If you just arrived, you've got to be on your toes 24 hours a day in LA. We throw a lot of crap at you. But West Hollywood, let's find out what they did in West Hollywood.
Lowering the flags holds huge significance in our country. We do it for Memorial Day to honor our war veterans, and on 9/11 to honor the victims of that day and first responders who worked tirelessly through that day. Well, the flags here we want to show you are now back at full staff, but were at half staff for days. The city says they followed their policy after getting the presidential national directive. But in light of the order being used to recognize Kirk, the city is now looking to make some possible changes. Octavio Letzma tells us he was sitting on this bench on Sunday like he usually does before work and noticed the flags at half staff, including the trans flag. President Trump ordered a nationwide lowering of flags on public buildings and grounds through sunset on Sunday after the killing of political activist Charlie Kirk on September 10th. Octavio says he understands and respects that action following Kirk's violent death, but it shouldn't be for one person, he says, adding the same deference has not applied following other high-profile passings.
Who the hell has controversy and is affected by a flag halfway up the pole? Who are these people that get so outraged over this?
This sign makes a bolder statement about the lowering of the flags, reading in part, "Shame on West Hollywood for honoring Kirk, calling him racist, transphobic, and homophobic." It was placed where the trans and Promise Pride flags stand. Kirk's views have promoted a traditional ideology, often in contrast with the LGBTQ+ community. West Hollywood Mayor Chelsea Byers explains why the city lowered the flags.
We will follow the directive of the president when it comes to how we recognize the U.S. flag. And this is a policy that's been long established for the city on the books prior to this administration.
That's right. That's right. The president decides when the flag flies at half staff, and then all the government buildings are supposed to lower their flag. That's been the long-standing rule.
Other states like New York and New Jersey did not follow through with the president's order. Neither, it appears, did the city of Los Angeles, as noted by this post from the Los Angeles Fire Department last Friday, which reads in part, "Flags shall remain raised to full staff each day and should not be lowered to half staff unless directed by the mayor." Byers says they are looking into their policy.
Was the mayor even in town? Was she in town, or was she in Ghana for this one? Where was she? Was she out of town?
We have to look at this policy and see what other flexibility or discretion we're able to bring, knowing that the president is going to use this policy to honor people that may not be consistent with the values of the city and the impact that has on individuals here.
She says
so every time the president said, hey, let's lower the flag to House staff, then we got to do a 3-week review on the person, what the person's likes were, dislikes. Has he had any, past DUIs? Has he ever yelled or raised his hand to his wife? I mean, where does it stop?
She says in many ways it's about keeping the democratic process and having the public have some input. So in the next weeks and months, they may look at putting something on their city council agenda, voting on it with community input, and then finding a new resolution in, again, the future. Here in WeHo, Lolita Lopez, NBC4 News.
All right. Then on the other end of the spectrum, Huntington Beach. When we come back, we'll tell you what they did in Huntington Beach, a huge memorial for Charlie Kirk in Huntington Beach. If you're going to the State Farm Stadium, you got to get there early. You can get tickets online. They're pretty easy to get tickets. But it's first come, first serve. They want you in line by 8 o'clock. But they said there will be people probably in line 24 hours before that, waiting to get inside. It seats 63,000. They're going to add another 10,000 seats because it's not a football game, so you can litter the field with more chairs. 73,000 people there. And you got to be in line by 8 a.m. The Secret Service is going to be there, so it's going to be tougher to get in than if Trump wasn't there. But the security is going to be unbelievable. The Secret Service, the local sheriffs, the local state cops, the city cops. I imagine, some National Guard will be there as well. But it is going to be a well-protected building on Sunday. So if you're going, may want to leave today. There's going to be a lot of traffic there as well. But if you go on Saturday, it's supposed to be 105 going through the desert. So be prepared for that as well. But a lot of people are going. Lots of people. It might be tens of thousands of people going from Southern California to Glendale, Arizona for this memorial. All right, we're live on KFI AM 640. KFI AM 640. It is the Conway Show. Yeah, thank you, Bellio. Appreciate that. Your hair looks great, by the way. Who straightened it for you? Did you straighten it yourself?
I spent all weekend straightening.
Yeah, it looks good.
Thank you.
Yeah, it looks... So
it didn't look good before?
Did you get all the kinks out?
I don't think... did you get the kinks out, Crozier asked?
I got most of them out. Thanks to our listeners, a lot of stylists that sent me some really great tips that I used. So thank you.
Did you do it at home yourself? You straighten it at home?
I did it at home.
Oh, my God.
A lot of moisturizing.
With the hair?
Conditioning?
Yeah. Conditioning.
Basically, like stripping it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Starting over.
Yeah. If you didn't see it, Bellio got a fro last week. Perm. Wait, your mic's not on.
It was a perm, and it was just too tight and stayed on way too long.
Yeah.
So I had to undo it.
Did somebody dare you to do that, or is that a...
No, Tim, nobody dared me to do that.
You lose a bet.
Rude. Somebody dare you to wear that shirt today?
Oh, boom.
Can we still call you Belly Fro?
Yeah, can we still call you Belly Fro?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, right. That's how you diffuse that. Yeah, you say, "Oh, I don't mind it all. Don't mind it all." Then
I love it. I love it.
They cry in the corner.
I have brothers too, I know how this works.
I get it. You can see the old Belly Fro still up on Instagram, I think, right?
Yeah, it's on Instagram. It's a picture of you and Billy Zane.
Yeah, right. And then you and Billy Zane.
And Crow and Billy Zane.
There was one comment that was pretty good. You should have gone with Billy Zane's hairdo.
They said Billy Zane's hairdo would have been better. So rude.
And for people that know this, Billy Zane is completely bald. So there you go. All right, Huntington Beach and Charlie Kirk, how are they remembering his life in that very conservative area of Southern California, Huntington Beach? Let's go down and find out what's going on.
And then they started putting on white masks over the face. And then they all lined up, and then they got the microphone out, and then they started chanting, "White men fight back."
It was all too much for Huntington Beach's Jerry Geyer.
I know what that is. We all know what that is. That's white supremacy. So I have to stop that. I cannot allow that to run through the streets of Huntington Beach. That's not what we are. That's not who Huntington Beach is.
Disgusted by what he heard and saw downtown Saturday night, Geyer, seen here on social media video, yelled profanities as he rode his bike alongside the group of men.
Man, this is going to get hot. This is going to get crazy. This is going to set a lot of people off. Thank God that this didn't happen in May or early June. If this happened in May or early June, we would have had a very hot June, July, and August where the temperature was high, and that makes people even crazier. And this could have been a brutal summer. Thank God. I mean, today's not a perfect example, but it is going to get cooler eventually here in Southern California. I think maybe even by this weekend. And cooler temperatures mean cooler heads as well.
At one point on Main Street, he tried to block their path as they walked 2 by 2 in matching clothes to the Charlie Kirk Memorial at the pier.
And nobody there stopped them. I came in behind them on my bicycle, and I pleaded to everybody in the Pier Plaza not to let them join them, not to let them taint what they were doing. And 2 or 3 people heard me. The rest of them telling me to get the hell out of there.
Barbara Richardson has lived in town since the 70s.
It was very disappointing to see something like that happening in our city again, because I remember when we had this type of problem in the 1980s, and I also was afraid to go downtown. I remember seeing skinheads patrolling the streets.
And I don't go down near the pier when that kind of thing is going on because I'm afraid. And I think many people that live in Huntington Beach are afraid of that kind of vitriol and that kind of unreasonable response to national events.
The mayor said in a statement that we are dedicated to fostering a peaceful, secure, and inclusive community. The city of Huntington Beach will do everything we can to eliminate acts of violence or inflammatory rhetoric. Abdel Awa saw the white nationalists from his downtown pizza parlor and says scenes like this are bad for business.
This might make them rethink and, why would I go there? Because they might show up again and again and again. So it's just making it not safe anymore.
In Huntington Beach, Michelle Geely, KCAL News.
All right, so craziness everywhere. I suspect that those guys who did do that are from out of town. I've been to Huntington Beach a million times in my life. Never felt unsafe there. Never felt that it was a white supremacist town. It just leans a little more Republican than some of these other beach towns, and that's the bottom line. All right, when we come back, we have a state senator on with us. We'll talk about the crime in the San Fernando Valley. Find out what's going on in the San Fernando Valley. Her name is Senator Caroline Menjivar, and she was on with her. She came in before. She represents the San Fernando Valley, so we'll ask her what's going on in the San Fernando Valley. And this, I don't know if she knows this, but we went to the same elementary school and the same junior high. I went to Encino Elementary and Portola Junior High, and I believe she went to the same schools. Not at the same time. She's a little younger than I am. But we'll come back and find out what's going on with her. And it's nice to speak to somebody who can do something in the San Fernando Valley. So we'll find out where the problem areas are, how come the cops are unable to really, wipe out some of this crime that we hear about every single day. And again, I don't blame LAPD. They just, the city of LA just doesn't respect the cops and didn't put money into law enforcement the way other cities did. And proof of that is go to any of these small towns. Go to Culver City, Burbank, Glendale, Pasadena, Arcadia, and all of these towns, all these smaller towns with their own police force, they finance it. They have the right amount of cops for the amount of citizens, and they wipe out crime. But LA is just too big, and there's not enough money for cops. They need to double the budget of the LAPD. I know, probably a minority position, but look, they monitor and they patrol from Chatsworth all the way to San Pedro. That's LAPD. From Chatsworth to San Pedro, about 35, maybe 40 miles. And that's a hell of a long commute or area to patrol. But, if you take, for instance, New York City and the boroughs of New York City, it's probably maybe a quarter or a fifth the size of LA, maybe even a tenth of the size of LA. And yet they have 37,000 cops in New York City. 37,000. I think we have 8,500 here in LA. So the problem isn't the cops don't want to get there, is there's not enough of them. So if you're serious about crime, you got to start hiring more cops. That's the bottom line. All right, we're live on KFI AM 640.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. on demand from KFI AM 640.